choosing plants. My name is Heather, and this is a channel where I explore different dietary lifestyles that all revolve around eating plants. Some of them are a little bit easier for me to follow than others. For those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know that I have taken about 2 months off, and for those of you that are new, hello. But I have had a wonderful 2 months off eating anything that I wanted that was relatively, no animal foods, but anything that I wanted that was pretty much lots of vegan junk food. So I tried to eat fairly healthy, and at the same time, with my elevated cortisol level and the fact that I don't sleep very well, my body just went crazy the last 2 months. So we are starting over. It's the beginning of the year. I've got great goals and aspirations for this year, and I need to get some weight off, like seriously. So I have gained, I don't know, maybe between 8 and 12 pounds. It's very hard to say because I'm not actually sure exactly what I was when I was, before I took my break. So that's a lot of weight in a couple of months, like a lot. But it's okay. I am just fine. I am going to get right back on the swing of things. So this time I have decided to do something that is similar to a diet that I have done before, but really and truly kind of totally different, to be honest with you. So I am going to do a plan this time around that's called a Resistant Starch plan. And the reason that I decided to do this actually was my husband was listening to a podcast with somebody who I totally don't like, and he doesn't actually like the guy either. But anyways, we're not even going to talk about him because I'm not advertising for him. He's a jerk. But anyway, I heard this other guy, he's like, do you know of this other person? He's talking about this potato hack. Have you heard about that? So anyway, I went and I listened to it, and it sounded too good to be true. And it is. So this guy was talking about, I'll mention this guy, his name is Chris Kresser. He is not whole food plant-based. He is not vegan. However, he was mentioning and talking about on this podcast about potatoes. And basically what he was talking about was retrograde resistant starch. And so I got to looking into resistant starch and then retrograde resistant starch. And there's some really, really interesting information out there that is way exaggerated. And when you get down to the science of it and actually go to PubMed and look at what it is and look at the actual numbers, people really blow things out of proportion. So basically a resistant starch is something that is, you guys know what a starch is, and a resistant starch is something that goes into your body and your body can't absorb all the calories out of it because it's either high in fiber or it's not digestible fiber. For whatever purpose, you can't take all the calories out of it. So a resistant starch, you get all of the food and you don't get 100% of the calories. So there's type 1 resistant starch, which is found in grains and seeds and legumes. And there's a type 2 resistant starch that is found in things like unripe bananas, raw potatoes, but potatoes. And then type 3, I think there's actually 5 types of resistant starch. The other 2 are not necessary to talk about. Type 3 is retrograde resistant starch, which is like the big hoopla all over the place, where you take a potato and you cook it and you cool it and then you eat it. Or you cook it, make a big tray of potatoes and you cook it and you cool it and you cook it and you cool it and you cook it and you cool it until, wow, all you're left with is like just resistant starch. So you get like no calories out of this. So the way that they talk about it online, it's true, but man, they make it's not the whole truth. So basically, if you take a potato and you cook it and you cool it, you increase the resistant starch by 10%. And I went on PubMed and I looked up some research articles, and it does say that if you keep cooking and cooling something, like a potato, the resistant starch does increase. And it increased, I don't remember what it said, but like not maybe 30%, but 30%, that would be awesome. So 30% of the calories that are in this potato you wouldn't absorb. That would be super awesome, right? No, that's not how that works. So basically what it is, and the only people that are right on about this, which this should not surprise you guys at all, is Jeff Novak from Dr. McDougall. So I totally would believe what these guys would say anyway. But what like this Chris Kresser was saying is that you take your potatoes, you cook it, you cool it, cook it, cool it, cook. By the time you get done, you've got 30% less calories. That is so not true. You have 30% less calories from the resistant starch. not all of the potato became resistant starch. So you have 30% less calories of the teeny tiny little part of it that's the resistant starch, not the whole potato. So it's this massive exaggeration about where your calories are coming from and how much of the calories go away when you cook it and cool it and that kind of thing. So retrograde resistant starch to me is kind of BS, to be honest with you. I think it's just, what does Chef AJ say? Majoring in the minutia or something like that. Like you're looking at the teeny tiny little details rather than the whole picture. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. However, cook it and cool it and eat it, no problem. I don't think it matters as far as makes that big of a difference. What we're going to do on this challenge is focus on resistant starch. If it's retrograde, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to try to get as many of my calories from resistant starches as possible. And I think that will be super, super healthy for me. So what I'm going to do, what this plan is going to look like is every other day, I'm going to eat potatoes. My husband went to Costco and bought some little baby bite-sized potatoes. Hang on, I'll show you. These are little baby bite-sized potatoes that he picked up. So got several bags of those that I need to bake or boil, whatever. And then Yukon Gold potatoes. I'm not a huge fan of russet potatoes. I'll eat them. In fact, I'm not a huge fan of potatoes at all. You guys that have watched me for a long time know that I don't actually really love potatoes at all. But I didn't grow up eating potatoes either. We ate pasta growing up, and rice occasionally, and potatoes were like never on the list of things that my mom made. So anyway, that's fine. So every other day is a potato day. I am going to allow myself to have spices on the potatoes, except salt. So, you know, black pepper or garlic or onion powder or anything along those lines is fine. I'm not trying to make it like, oh my gosh, super, super flavorful, because that's not the point of consuming the potatoes. The potatoes are just for you eat until you're full, and that's what you eat. And if it tastes like super amazing or you put lots of salt on it, you're gonna eat till you're past full because it tastes so good. So that's gonna be every other day. And on the days that I am not eating potatoes only, I'm going to focus on resistant starches. So going to have oats every other day. I'm going to have oats for sure. I'm going to have sweet potatoes and legumes. And one of the things that I did see about legumes, resistant starch does vary based on the whatever it is, the legume or the bean or whatever. So if you wanted to pick a bean that you buy canned beans with no sodium in them, you're gonna pick one that's the best for you. White beans have the highest amount of resistant starch. So they have the majority of what you eat, you're gonna absorb the calories, but it has more calories that are resistant starch that you won't absorb than say black beans. So anyways, might focus on that. I'm going to come up with some recipes for you guys or find some on the internet. I'm sure that will work out well. So that I am showing you guys all of the really awesome things that you can do as far as focusing on resistant starch. And my main goal is just to get myself back under control in terms of not eating Daya macaroni and cheese and vegan tuna and all sorts of other wonderful, yummy, delicious things that come in a box and a package that are so super not good for me and that have caused me to gain a bunch of weight. So, just to let you know, this morning I weighed myself. Well, that was this morning. I don't know what I am now, but whatever. In the morning, I usually weigh myself when I get up. So this morning when I weighed myself, I was at 176.4. So that's where I'm at right now. My husband is going to do this with me. I have no idea how much he weighs. Although he's enjoyed a lot of vegan junk food, including the pecan pie that I made and the pumpkin pies that I've made and the vegan brownies, and it's been a wonderful 2 months, let me tell you. So anyways, he's gonna do this with me. So I'll let you know how much it is that he weighs. I'll just put it up here because I'll ask him, have him tell me how much he weighs when he gets up. He can weigh himself. And then tomorrow starts our first day. So what I really need to do is focus on getting some of this weight back off of me so I can feel decent, and focus on eating some whole food, plant-based, resistant starch, and get things under control and make it so that I feel good about myself and feel good about the foods that I'm choosing and eating, rather than eating purely for pleasure, eating for my health, which is really and truly what it's about. The 5 minutes of mouthfeel that's wonderful versus the years and years of healthiness that can come at the end of the road. That's what I'm looking for, not necessarily just the 2 months of it was wonderful, but it was wonderful, I have to say. It was very, very tasty for the last 2 months. I probably will go out to eat with my husband once or twice on this challenge, just to let you know, and I will let you know when I do that. Maybe not. But if we do go out for lunch, it will be to either a Mediterranean restaurant where we have hummus and cabbage salad, or it will be to a vegan restaurant called Spirals, where I will probably have nachos. That basically it's chips that have beans and quinoa on top, and then they have corn, and it's got a cashew cheese on the top of it. It's delicious. And then a salad. So if I do go out to eat, that would be one of the two things that I would have. We don't go out to eat otherwise. I don't eat out ever anyways. Besides those two places. So that's it for me. I am waiting for my boy's bread to finish cooking in the oven, and then I'm going to go to bed and start this all over tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a great time and had a fabulous Christmas and a great New Year's, and I will see you tomorrow for the start of our Resistant Starch Challenge.